Most people would spend this coin without even looking twice. But this 1951 nickel could tell a much bigger story. Today we're looking at the 1951 5-cent coin from the United States, part of the iconic Jefferson Nickel series featuring Thomas Jefferson on the front. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary old coin, worn, dull, maybe even slightly dark from decades of circulation. But here's the truth, coins like this are often overlooked, and that's where the opportunity begins. The 1951 nickel was minted during the early post-World War II era, a time when the United States was growing rapidly. These coins were produced for everyday use, meaning millions entered circulation and were used heavily in daily transactions. That's why many examples today show signs of wear, scratches, and fading details. On the front, you'll see a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag. On the reverse, the coin features Monticello, Jefferson's historic home, with detailed steps and columns that collectors often study closely. Now let's talk about value, and this is where expectations need to be realistic. A typical 1951 nickel in circulated condition is usually worth between 5 cents and around 50 cents. That's the honest range for common examples. Even though the coin is old, it's not rare enough in average condition to command high prices. But here's where things start to get interesting. Condition changes everything. If your 1951 nickel has strong details, clear steps on Monticello, sharp lettering, and minimal wear, it can be worth more. High-grade coins, especially those graded professionally, can sell for several dollars or even higher depending on quality. And then we have something collectors really pay attention to, mint marks. The 1951 Denver Mint nickel is particularly famous among collectors. In high grades, this coin can be quite valuable because fewer well-preserved examples exist compared to other years. Coins with full steps on the Monticello building are especially desirable, as they show a stronger strike and better preservation. Now let's talk about errors, because this is where a coin like this can surprise you. Some 1951 nickels were struck with minting mistakes that increased their value. These include backhand index pointing right double die errors, where letters or numbers appear slightly doubled due to a misaligned strike. Backhand index pointing right off center strikes, where the design is not properly aligned, leaving part of the coin blank. Backhand index pointing right die cracks, raised lines across the surface caused by damaged dies. Backhand index pointing right clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin is missing due to a production issue. Backhand index pointing right weak strike or missing details, especially on the Monticello steps, which can affect collector demand. If you find one of these errors in good condition, the value can jump from a few cents to $20, $50, or even more depending on rarity and visibility. But here's something most people get wrong. They think old equals valuable. In reality, collectors look for condition, rarity, and unique features. A heavily worn coin with no special characteristics will always be less valuable than a well-preserved or rare era coin. So what should you do if you have a 1951 nickel? First, don't clean it. Cleaning can damage the surface and reduce value instantly. Second, inspect it carefully under good lighting. Look at the Monticello steps, the lettering, and the overall condition. Third, check for mint marks and compare your coin with known error examples. If it looks promising, you can get it graded and sell it through online platforms like eBay, coin dealers, or collector auctions. So here's the final takeaway. Most 1951 nickels are common, but the right condition or a rare error can turn this small coin into something collectors actually want. And that's why smart collectors never ignore old coins, because sometimes, a simple 5-cent piece can hold far more value than it appears at first glance.